Gran Turismo is PlayStation's highest selling series and also one of their first as it debuted in 1997 in Japan and in 1998 in Europe/America. Since then, there have been many follow-up entries that have achieved the same or even exceeded the success of the first game. I myself have only been playing some GT Sport, but that game got me into a Gran Turismo addiction and made me check out earlier entries like GT2 and GT5. This made me excited for the latest installment in the series, Gran Turismo 7. It got me so excited, in fact I even pre-ordered it, a thing I normally don't do. When it was released in March of 2022, I was so pumped to play. I had a great time playing the game, for the most part. The game was praised by critics, but the fans were very negative as most of the game revolves around hefty microtransactions and required an internet connection for most features. This division made me look at the game again as I basically completed everything last year. So let's dive into Gran Turismo 7. In 2019, the game's creator, Kazunori Yamauchi, stated in an interview that a new Gran Turismo was in development. He said it would focus on a classic Gran Turismo experience and will create a combination of past, present and future, a complete form of Gran Turismo. The game was revealed in June 2020 on the PlayStation 5 announcement livestream and was scheduled to release in 2021. This was delayed due to the pandemic, which pushed the release to 2022. Unlike other GT games, GT7 has a different single-player progression system with the GT Cafe. To progress, you need to buy specific cars for the different events during the cafe menus. There are 3 ways to buy cars: the used car dealership for older and cheaper cars, Brand Central for newer cars, and the legendary car dealership for cars with a legacy like the McLaren F1 and the Porsche 911K. You can also tune these cars to your liking and even swap some of the engines of the car. Like, for example, I put a Honda Civic engine in a Mini Cooper. There are also other single-player offerings outside of the cafe menus. There are missions that you can do which range from races, passing challenges, slipstream, cone challenges, one-lap challenges, drifting, drag races, eco and mileage challenges. You can also do circuit experiences, which challenges the driver to finish tracks in gold, silver or bronze times. These can range from easy to difficult. And finally, we have the license tests, which are a staple of Gran Turismo. These range from simple tasks to completing laps in certain cars in certain conditions. It can either be piss easy or the worst thing in the world. For example, the last license test, S10, involves completing a lap around Spa in wet conditions in the Porsche 911K. This license test will bring out the rage in almost anyone who tries to complete it. But when you complete it and hear that gold music, it feels like you can accomplish something massive. It makes you feel proud inside. But in the end, it probably costs you 70 controls and your sanity. There are also other activities to do outside of racing, like Escapes, Gran Turismo's own photo mode. There are many places to take pictures of your cars from all around the world. There are also many photo options to modify your pictures. The multiplayer in Gran Turismo 7 feels a bit lackluster as it really only offers online multiplayer in the form of sport mode and lobbies. There is a local split screen multiplayer, but it looks like this. Sport offers a range of preset races which involve players racing in different types of cars. These could be cars from the GT1 to 4 range and other cars which can be tuned to their liking. There are also other events like the GT Manufacturers and Nations Cup, which involves players racing to earn points for their manufacturer or country. Lobbies are created by players which can be modified and changed for their liking. Due to the game being made for PS5, it takes its increased power from the SSD to provide more graphical enhancements like ray tracing on the cars. This game also runs at 4K with 60 FPS. The game also supports the use of the PS5's DualSense controller with its haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, making it feel like you're actually driving a car. Gran Turismo 7 released on March 3rd, 2022, with a positive reception from the critics, but the fans were very negative. A part of the criticism from fans comes from the introduction of hefty microtransactions. These microtransactions were different from GT Sport, as in that game you can straight up purchase cars for real money. But in GT7 you have to use the in-game credits. For example, the price of the McLaren F1 in-game is 20 million credits. If one 2 million credit pack costs around $15, it would cost around $150 for one car. Yes, that's right, $150 for one bloody car. This resulted in two options for the players: grind the game day and night or cave in and purchase the in-game credits. There were also many features which were promised but weren't put in the game, like the option to sell your cars. Another complaint that it was a live service game, which meant that you need a constant internet connection to play, even for single player content. After the launch of the game, many updates have happened. Some of the more notable updates include the addition of new tracks like Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta and Grant Valley, the inclusion of new cars, new layouts of existing tracks, the promised option to sell your cars, and new cafe menus. One of the newest features added in post-launch was the inclusion of VR with the release of PSVR 2. This allowed fans to immerse themselves more in the game. Overall, the game offers fans of the real driving simulator a great experience on current-gen consoles. It turned many fans off with its abundance of microtransactions, which turned the game into a big grind fest. The more online focus of the game was also a big turn-off for the fans. But even with all that, I think that Gran Turismo 7 provides a very enjoyable experience, which is further enjoyed with the additional new content being added to this day. It might be a far cry from the peak of Gran Turismo from early generations, but overall, in my opinion, it's still enjoyable.